Hey, what's going on there, everybody? It's your boy Laz again. So, getting down on part three of five of the NCH software that I downloaded. And today we're going to take a look at the Express Zip file compression software from NCH Software. So, I just want to cover a little bit of a background for this that, I'm probably being a dead horse, to be honest, because I feel like everybody that has used a computer before understands compression software and their formats associated with it. So, the most common one that everybody knows is .zip, obviously. But, you got different formats. You got .zip, .7z, .tar, and a whole slew of other formats that's supported by either systems or different software, compression software, that is. So, through and through, the idea for compression software is that you're either getting a file or a group of files, something along those lines, and you're pretty much combining it into one file in itself that's usually compressed to make the file size smaller. Um, and people are still doing this to this day. It's still somewhat available and whatnot. Why, the wide variety of use kind of varies because now this day and age for zip files and things, it could contain malicious software and things like that. So, obviously people are a bit more careful and cautious, or, you got your antivirus program that will monitor all that stuff. But anyway, typically people would either purchase or acquire file compression software for the uses that I stated before, and then post them, host them, email it, just to make it easier instead of sending a whole bunch of individual files or a file that just has a large file size. It'll make it a bit smaller, or you can even break it down into smaller subparts if you had limitations of storage or file sizes if you did a file sharing site. So the thing is for general usage by users, really most of everybody just uses these types of software to view and or extract the data and whatnot. And granted, throughout the 90s to the early 2000s, I mean, I guess you can even say the 80s and stuff like that. But throughout that time, people would get this software and would utilize it so they can extract it and whatnot. So this may not be that big of a topic overall, because I want to say it was about Windows 8, could even be Windows 7. The File Explorer functionality lets you view contents in the zip folders or .zip formats and stuff. So you were able to view it and extract it. So I want to say, like, once when that kind of came around, I don't think a lot of people, continue to download or utilize these programs just to view and extract data, which that's what most people really use this for, at least an everyday user. People that are like what I would like to call power users, like myself, well, we would use it to get all the files together and then host them and post them, kind of like how I have it on the site right now. So yeah, so we're going to look into this piece of software, and we're just going to see all the different functions that it does and whatnot. Obviously we'll be able to view files before we get into it. It'd be weird if it didn't let us do that. But I know we can view files, but it's the functionality and how efficient and effective it is at compressing the files, as well as creating and viewing whatever different file formats, because there's a lot of different compression file formats that's out there. Some of them, personally for me, some of them are still kind of weird for me, because like ISOs and disk images and cabinet files and things like that. Those are very software and program related. Where I still think it's kind of weird that a compression software program can open them and extract them and whatnot, because there isn't really much you could do with the contents in those file formats, to be honest. At least, that's just my opinion. But hey, whatever. To each his own. So, anyways, let's get to the juicy part of the video. All right, everybody. So, we're moving on with our NCH software, and today we're going to be looking at the Express zip file compression from NCH software. So let's see how everything's going to go. So first things first, let's get it installed and let's see how this whole process is going to go. Alright, so of course we got our EULA. We'll accept the terms. Okay, at least for now, we're just going to close that out. Alright, so here's the program through and through, and let's just take a look and see at all the stuff that we can and can't do and whatnot. So of course we got open archive, a new archive, which we're going to open and try a new one. We'll have files, all kinds of different ways that we can convert them and whatnot. Email, repair, split, burn them. Let's check out the tools tab. What do we got here? That's interesting. Options, help for help. And then of course all their suite options if you want to do whatever that you got to do. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's check out the menu. This is usually where I prefer to check things out. It's usually the menu gives you extra options that you can do. You can edit, tools, we can encrypt. Yeah, some of these, the WIM, I've never heard of that archive before. TAR archives, ARJ, I don't think I've ever heard of that archive before. An LZH archive, create a self-extracting archive. That's going to be interesting to actually try out, honestly, which I'll really only be able to try out the Windows one because I don't have any Apple things. Alright, let's really check out options. Let's see what we got here. I can give a default name, pick a default location where it could save all the time. Let's see, extract destination, wherever we want to pick, wherever we want things to extract, which I'm actually going to change that to my downloads just to make things a little bit easier, make that the default for now. Let's see, we got right click context menus, we can add express zip to file folder. So in other words, if we're anywhere else, it should just do that. So if we just want to see, it should be, and there it is, already here if we wanted to and whatnot. That's kind of nice. Quick zip, I guess that's something we are going to try. Ignore files, ignore hidden files, or files with the .db, which means database extensions. Let's see, ExpressZip may be associated with various archive types. When checked, the file will open. So here's all your default settings that you can pick. Pretty wide range, honestly. Kind of nice. Oh, Windows imaging format. Okay, so that's what WIM is. Kind of explains some of these things and whatnot. Some of these I know, but some of these I've never really seen. But I I don't do too extensively for zipping things and whatnot. Let's see, and then we got other prompt for open create whenever express zip runs, open folder browser after unzipping, alert when extraction is successful, prompt for prism compression, prompt with switch sound compression, and these we're going to uncheck because you know, I don't really care for that. I do have the prism video, but you know, I'm not doing anything like that. Remind me to rip CDA files first when I attempt. I don't really care. And I don't have the pixelian image compression, which I know that's one of the other things I'm going to cover later on and whatnot. Alright, yeah, I'm also going to set this to my downloads as well for my save default locations. Okay, well, it looks good so far. So, tell you what, how about we open an archive? And at least for this, I'm just going to look at our FTP server and maybe OS's. I know we got some ISOs, which I ain't really too worried about. Let's see. Yeah, hold on, let's see here. Yeah, we'll check out screensavers first. Alright, you know, I mean, this is what I currently have too on the server as well. Not bad for compression initially, which, you know, I think, well, not really I think, but, you know, the predominant zip program that I personally use the most is 7-zip, or not 7-zip, JZip, which, you know, like I kind of covered before, even on the server and stuff, you can't really get JZip anymore because, well, for one, the developers gone disappeared, and then I guess once when they kind of sold the site or whatever changing of the hands that occurred, it kind of turned into where they started injecting a virus or malware or something into the download where, you know, it would just, yeah, you know, it's just not good for business and whatnot. So their reputation just kind of went downhill. But at least I still have one of the, you know, their last update that they had that none of that crazy stuff happened and whatnot. So that's why I still use it. It's very basic platform and whatnot. You know, if you're interested, you can, you know, that's on the server and you can download that if you want. So cool. You know, how about let's just extract them, and boom, here we are. Here's all the screensavers here and all nicely extracted, ready for use. Okay, well that's pretty cool. You know, does that. I'm not surprised about that one bit. So let's close that. Alright, so how about we make ourselves a new archive. Let's make a new archive, and only gives you two options, honestly. So just a little bit of a background, because when I was doing PC support, I extensively looked into zipping options and things, because I was hosting ISOs and all kinds of other files and things like that. And at least then, and you know, it might still be the case now, not really 100% sure, because this was like years ago when I did this, but 7-zip gives you the best compression, you know, for the format type. So if you're really kind of tight on space, 7-zip's the way to go. But 7-zip is a very proprietary format that not too many other zip programs can either read or save as, because I think It could be an open format, but for some reason a lot of people don't use it, so I don't think it's really a free to use format. I think you have to pay for it, which could be the reason why this could cost money, which we're going to look into around at the end. So just for shits and giggles, let's do the 7-zip format, and I'll just leave it as my zip. That's fine. We'll just save it. Okay, cool. So we got that. Now we can add files or folders or whatever that we got to do. So for a lot of everything, at least for this for right now, we're gonna let's go to AVG. Let's go to some offline installations, because these are pretty sizable. They're like 500-ish megs. I know everything's in kilobytes, but it's a size like that where for this test, let's do all the 21 versions. Why not? Let's just do all the 21 versions, offline 21 versions, and we'll import that. Which, this could take a little bit because it's going off the network onto here. I'm also going to do another test where, I'll save or I'll move these files to the computer and then we'll try it there. Because, depending on your network connection and whatnot, it's definitely going to depend how fast things are going to, load and unload and whatnot. So, but I know at least for how I have things set up currently, I can get 100 megabits, speed, at least locally. So let's just see however that's going to go, at least kind of like a network check or test. But, usually for anything that you want to do, you kind of really want to do it locally. So I guess we can call this a stress test. And I don't know if it's going to go so well, at least right now, because this isn't really going anywhere. At least for right now. So just to play it safe. Well, I mean, there's the folder right there. Well, the file that I'm creating. And this we can just delete. Just to play it safe. We'll do, which one I said I was going to do? The 21s. Okay, yeah. So let's just grab all the 21s here. I'm just going to move them to the downloads folder for now. Get a copy of them. Just paste them here for now so it's local. Oh wow, yeah. So this is like almost 2 gigs. So this is actually a pretty sort of decent sized test. And I'm not surprised that this is a little slow just because, well, I got this process going and now I got that process going. So we'll see however it goes for the time being. But I'm wondering if this is just kind of stalling out right now. I think I'm going to cancel. Yeah, and we'll discard the changes. For now. I mean, it got one so far, but, we'll remove it. It just might have been too much for it to handle, and boom, as soon as we got rid of that, of course now it's doing whatever. So I guess that's kind of the thing to keep in mind. No surprises. If you do anything over the network, you are limited on your speed. And, generally speaking, it's usually best to do everything you got to do locally and then put it in or present it wherever you got to take it anyway. Okay, yeah, so let's try this again. So at least that was kind of a good startup test. So yeah, if you got a lot of files and you're doing it over a network, it may not work as well. I mean, it looked like it was going to, but I don't want like 20 minutes of the video. Okay, now we'll wait, and now we'll wait, now we'll wait. We really want to see this program in action anyway. Okay, so let's see here. So we'll just add files. And now since I moved to the downloads, we'll just go to downloads and let's see, this one through this one. Okay. Yeah, and this one might work a little better since it's local. Or maybe it will actually take a while because it's going to try to compress it too. I don't know. Let's see. We'll give it a little bit of time because, yeah, I guess I just now thought of that too. Because it's kind of like what I said too, 7Z, at least then, and I'm pretty sure it's still the same case now, 7Z is the best compression that you can give for a file. But a lot of people typically don't do it because, no, whoops, I forgot to put that on. Sorry, guys. But, typically speaking, it's not as recognized. I mean, it is still a pretty common format, but it's not as recognized with a lot of other programs to be able to view the contents of the files as well. So that's kind of the reason why a lot of people still use zip, because it's it's an open source, I don't want to say codec, but file format or compression format that you can apply. So yeah, it's just a little weird here. I'm going to give it at least almost maybe another minute, a few more seconds and whatnot, and then we'll see what it's going to look like. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah, so it's still processing, and it's like I said, it could just be because of that, but that's still the other thing to keep in mind too, is if we do it from a network to here, it could take longer depending on your bandwidth and speed and things like that. So, and at least for a lot of the cases too, if you do zipping, it's always easier to do things locally than over a network. But then again, I don't know how many people are really out there that have a home server solution or a NAS or something like that, like how I have, because it's not hard to set up, but it's not easy to at the same time. And I feel for a lot of people, it's just the maintaining portion. So I kind of go a little off topic from the actual video itself. Yeah, I guess we'll just let this process through, honestly, because I mean, so this is about, at least roughly when I moved it over to the folder, this is looking like about almost 2 gigs. So, if you got big files or something, and that's the idea too, is for compression, is you got either a lot of files that you just want to compress to make smaller, whether it's for archiving or storage or to send to somebody. Yeah, I know. Doing a lot of crazy things on my computer. Your junk files. Yeah. I'll work on that in a little bit. No. Man. Yeah, whew. This has always been my favorite part when I did PC support, is watching the bars go across the screen. That's the hardest part about being a computer technician. Alright, now we're working on the third one. Yeah, I guess I'm glad I kind of waited. I guess I could have did it one file and added it at a time, but go big or go home, right? I mean, there's still a few other things I still want to try out too with this program as well. So it's, I'm assuming this one's going to be a bit longer than at least in the last one with the Express scheduler. So, at least a lot more things you can do. Not too much more, but still do a lot. At least we'll get this set up initially, and I might even save this same archive as a zip, and maybe we'll compare the compression as well. I might even get the one that I use, the JZip, and see how well that compresses. But I mean, at least seeing the original size compared to the compressed for the the initial test with the screensavers, I mean, that's not that bad of a compression. But I've always felt like, even with JZip, it's just I don't think it does as good of a job as some of the other programs, which really, I've only used JZip for the longest time because that was a free option unless you get WinRAR, and then you got the 30-day trial, or you pay for it, and then people would either reinstall it or turn back the clock, or and I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, the way how I feel about anything when it comes to a program is like, look, like even with this, this is a program you can purchase. If you do a lot of something, just buy it. Like I get it, I do understand at times, and I felt the same way when I initially started doing things too, like, oh, well, I don't understand why I got paid for it. Well, I mean, look, regardless of the fact of, the developers spent time and effort and energy and is still giving out updates and things like that, you still just want to, if you're going to use it often, just pay for it. Well, that's wow. That didn't really do all that great if we kind of look at this. Which kind of makes sense because these are some pretty big files and they are executable. So I don't know. I don't think you can really compress too much when it comes to an executable because it could mess up the formatting and stuff. So let's see here. Let's see here. So we got our original size, and here's our compressed. So it did compress it, but not by a lot. And the size is roughly about 2 gigabytes, as we can see here. And then there's our ratio, which that's really the biggest thing to look at when you do compression and stuff, is, okay, what was your ratio? So in other words, it really only did like not even 1%. So yeah, I mean, guess it's, yeah. I mean, not bad. I guess that's not that big of a surprise because, I know executables are a little weird to compress. Um, okay, let's try doing a convert here. Let's see what we could do. So we could do a zip editable, a tar, whim. Let's try doing a zip. Yeah, my zip.zip. And let's convert it. And I guess we'll compare the file sizes and whatnot. I'll try some different file types too while we're at it. I think I'll try some images and things as well. Yeah, I'm hoping this will be sort of a faster process, but I don't know if it's got a change compression modules or transcode anything. That's the thing I'm not really too sure about, to be honest. But I guess while that's going on there, how about I get some images here and figure out, something that people are generally going to do, because yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that too much. But then again, for me, zip and executables and all kinds of other weird things, it's let's see here. So what could I do here? Let's see. So how about I get this one? I'm gonna get the photos that I have posted on my site that I have saved to at least my server in general. Nothing too crazy. Let's get a copy of those. And I'm doing this off screen, by the way. Let's see here. We'll do that, and then we'll paste. Just get a whole bunch of things. This time we'll import a photo, or not a photo, we'll import a folder and see how well that's going to go. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming for how big the file is, this could also be the other reason why we're dealing with all this stuff. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I didn't really do all that great. Looks like about the same, to be honest. I mean, 99.92. You know? I mean, hell, if we bring this back up again and we just want to take a look, I mean, hell, let's look at the properties. So, you know, we got 1.72 gigs with the 7-zip. Yeah, 1.72. Not really much of a difference between these two, honestly. Very interesting. Okay, well, so far so good. All right, let's see. How about, let's try, I know I said we were going to do something. Or we can split the archive. We'll take a look into that in a little bit. I guess let's check out the WIM functionality of this and see what that's really going to do, which I'm kind of curious because I'm not saying like, I'm wondering if it's almost like a almost like with the functionality of like a .msi kind of thing, where, you know, it's Microsoft, you know, software installer. It's what MSI stands for as well. So I'm wondering if it's something that's just almost like an MSI but can do, you know, whatever that's going to do. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to turn out, to be honest. At least for something as big as this. I mean, you know, why would you need you know, 3 different version installers that are a little dated or anything, but, you know, it's just how things are. Yeah, it's to create a temporary file. You know, just trying things out, because just like I said, I don't think I've never heard of that before. .wim format. You know, I've heard cabinets and things like that, but, you know, cab files are for like installations, really. So, you know, I'm just kind of curious to see how this is going to all turn out and work in the end. Okay, and this doesn't even do any compression at all, which is interesting. So what does that do? Well, that's really specific for that. Well, I know we got it set up for that, but yeah, I mean, we're looking at like 1.71, right? Nah, still 1.72. Yeah, and also, you know, you might see these arrows here and stuff, and that's because, you know, since I have some, you know, I wouldn't say storage issues, but since I've been maxing out my drive a few times, obviously, I have compression set up as well. So it is compressing it, or it's making it into a compressible format for wherever it can. As we can see here, it doesn't really mess with executables per se or installation files. Huh. Okay. Well, I don't really know what the hell the difference really is. Honestly, guess just another format you could do, but you can't split it. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Let's try something. Let's try doing some photos and stuff. So let's do a new archive, and this time we're just gonna say photos. Could have just clicked down on that. Okay, then we'll. Oh, whoops! It went to the directory. Pics. Whoop. What the fuck? How about pics? Pics.zip. All right, and this time we're just gonna add a folder. Photos. And add them. Something that people are likely going to archive and whatnot, and maybe we'll get some better um, compression ratios and things like that. Because I guess exe files isn't really the best thing to do. Cool. All right, there we go. So I got was at the Central Florida Zoo, Kennedy Space Center, St. Augustine, and all the work stuff, and all this stuff I posted on the website and stuff. Yeah, I didn't really do all that great of a job neither. I mean, 99.06, like that's not even a whole percent that it compressed it by, to be honest. So tell you what, let's check out the split function. So the idea for a split really is, which I don't think too many people really have to deal with anymore. It's predominantly based on storage size limitations, or even if you want to look at it like a downloading kind of capability. So you might put it on a file serving site, and it might say files no greater than X, Y, or Z. And I mean, this day and age, everybody's all right with you downloading or uploading gigabytes worth of stuff and pulling it around and moving it around and whatnot. But I know 7-zip can do split archives if you want. That's kind of one of the big selling things for 7-zip. But I guess this one can do it too. So you know what? Let's just try it out. So we could do 2 megabit file sizes. It even gives you an idea too for whatever that you're gonna do. Yeah, that's kind of not a bad. I know that flash USBs are a lot bigger now, but that's not bad too. DVD-ROM. Yeah, you know what? Let's do 100 megabits. Let's just do 100 megabits, because then that'll give us like about 4 of these, and we'll just do that. Let's split the zip, and we'll see however it works, or well, I guess how well it does overall. But yeah, splitting a zip, that's totally the idea behind that. Is there's some sort of storage limitation is the reason why you're splitting the zip, and the only way on how it works when you extract it is you have to have all parts of those zip to open it up, and then it can combine it, or it can extract everything and whatnot. That's the whole idea of when you do that. So and obviously, when you do that, you can't edit it or anything because it's split. Say split zip archive cannot be edited. If you wanted to add or remove files from this archive, you must first merge it into a single zip file. To do this, click merge. Command under the tools menu. If you wish to create recovery for a split archive, click par2 command under the tools. Yeah. Which, yeah, that is kind of the other thing to keep in mind as well, is if you do a split, you can't make any edits, which makes sense because it's breaking everything up into those parts and whatnot. Okay, how about we check out, yeah, that's usually how this is set up. So you'll have pics, you know, pic splits.zip, which you need this one initially to mount it, and then you need to have these like in the same directory or tell it where to look in order to open everything and make it go and work and things like that. So yeah. All right, well, cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's look at those file sizes. So let's see, we got 82.7, 100, 100, and 100. So it just made that one the small one, because I know it was like 3.87 or 3.8, whatever was said. So did exactly as it intended. So, that's kind of the other thing to keep in mind too. But it's like I said, I think that's a troubled thing of the past as well. You know, I don't think people really have to worry about splitting it up and whatnot, but there still could be file servers out there or hosting sites where if you do post something, it might say, hey, look, file size limit up to X, and then okay, well, this thing, if I want to post all my pictures or whatever, well, then that's what I got to do. So that's the benefit for that as well. Seems to work great. I'm not shocked about that one bit, to be honest. Okay, let's see here. What other juicy tools is there? So we got Quick Zip. It's FX for Windows. Okay, tell you what. How about we open an archive, and we're just going to open. Yeah, we'll just open up the pics.zip. There we go. So here's our original thing here. And, for this, I guess let's check out some of the other features like this FS. Oh, self-extracting zip file. Okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool right there. Tell you what, how about we do something different? Instead of the pictures or whatever, because I do want to try that out and see how well that's going to work. So how about, so let's say if I need to get like a software package or something, or files that you need for everything you need to install. Let's check out drivers. And I don't know, man. Yeah, let's do this. Why not? I'll just get this folder here, and because what if you're doing a 32 or 64-bit? Why not? Let's get a copy of this. Go back to downloads. We'll just paste it here. I'm going to create a new archive. Just going to include that in there, and then because that's really the best case for that. Because I know I could do it for this, but I think for how big the file size is, I ain't really too concerned about that. Okay, yeah. So how about we will create a new ding, 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 here we go. We hope you've enjoyed your free trial of Express plus Zip and have used its many professional features and tools. You can buy Express Zip now to use these features. Here we go. Which I'm not surprised. Which we'll check that out in a little bit. So I'm pretty sure it is not going to let me open up anything more right now. Tell you what, how about if we go to pics and remove? Oh yeah, no, that's I'm not surprised. Now here we go. We've done too many functions and features and options. I'll bet it's gonna, yep. All right, here you go. Laz, you've done too much. We can't really check out the rest of the program. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I don't think. Well, I'll tell you what. Since we're here, how about we view the special pricing for whatnot? So let's see here. Not that bad, actually. Well, kind of like with the last thing I covered, they got a sale going on. So I guess it's normally $30 or $25 for this. Um, so you got the Plus with commercial license, which is unlimited license for a user anywhere. You got the Express Zip Plus for home use only. So like what well, I guess it's normally $5. I guess you could say here that's $3 difference with the discount going on. And this is for unlimited use, but only licensed for non-business use, which kind of depends on whatever that you're doing and whatnot. Or you can get the commercial license quarterly plan where unlimited ongoing use of all professional versions and upgrade bill, $4.98 quarterly. Which I guess since this is the discounted price or $1.60, oh, I guess $1.66 a month. I guess $4.98 quarterly. Yeah, I guess that does add up to that. Full plus commercial license for only 6 cents per day. Yeah, so I guess that ain't bad there if you want the quarterly plan. And then you also get newer versions too, because that's the thing too to keep in mind with the NCH software is whenever you buy something at that time, it's only for that version too. So that's the thing to keep in mind as well. I probably haven't said that in any of the videos, but that's the thing you got to keep in mind is, if you're looking for patches or something, well, you got to get another license unless you get a quarter, unless they offer a quarterly plan. If they don't, then usually you might get newer updates or whatever. But really, to be honest, it's really based on a version, or they can easily say, hey, look, you bought this when we were at version 9 and now we're at version 10. It's like that, according to the license agreement or something. It's stuff you got to look into and whatnot. Wow, that one was a lot shorter than the other ones, which I get. I get it. I mean, it ain't a lot that you can do with that. I mean, I guess the price isn't that bad if you think about it. I mean, but it really depends. Once again, how often are you zipping things? If not often, well, then maybe you don't need to pay for it. Maybe you're a-okay with just using a free program or something. Or even if you're just viewing things, well, I mean, even now Windows has a zip viewer and things like that. Well, that kind of sucks because I really wanted to try that out, but I guess I've used the usages too many times, and yeah, I'm not really going to uninstall and reinstall. But if you think about it and just kind of look at things, it ain't too hard to figure out what in the world that you're doing. To be honest, especially for something like zipping and whatnot. So about emails, which come on, email repair for recovery. You can upload to a cloud service. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. The compression's a little weird. I don't think I really like the compression all that much. So, I guess just for shits and giggles, how about we get... let's get JZip open, just as a comparison. Okay, so, like I kind of stated before, this is technically the program that I use for all of my zipping needs and opening and whatever I need to do. And it's simple. I got it on the site if you really want to and whatnot. It's absolutely free. The developer's gone, and It's that's about it. So let's see here. I think what I want to do. Well, I don't really want to open an archive. Let's make a new archive and go to downloads. And I don't know, let's say, yeah, I guess it can do 7-zip. I don't know. Can't remember what this thing does. I usually just stick to just zip. So I don't know. I know if you use 7-zip, the actual program 7-zip, it does a better job at compression in their format than anything else. Is also the other thing that I noticed. But I know I don't have 7-zip installed. I know I have that also hosted on the server too. If you want to give that a shot, I don't know. We'll try the picture thing again. Now I just gotta. Let's see here. We'll just say images. Images. There you go. No thanks. Don't care because they're gone anyway. I never want to help. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go to downloads. Photos. I think if I click add, it's just going to go to there. Yeah, I thought so. All right. To tell you what, we'll just cancel. So now look, I will say this about JZip. It's very file specific too. So it wants you to select files in order to archive. If you're trying to do folders, it's easier to just drag and drop, which that's just what I'm going to do for this instance because I just want to do the same thing that I did before. So we'll just put photos. You already got the images zipped. Is that what you want to do? Yeah, add it. So just let it do its thing. About as fast as the last one too. I mean, it's just images. So I mean, 3.83. Really? I think it did better. No, I guess not that much. I mean, this is 3.82, and that's from using that program. And we are still in the zip format. And okay, never mind. I just did the same thing. I guess it's rounding down in Windows, and here it's rounding up or something like that. So, okay, interesting. Yeah, but it's like I said, this is a very, very basic esque kind of thing and whatnot, and obviously you could just, what do I want to do, and boom, there you go. And if you want to extract, you can extract, and you can pick if you want all the files or files in an archive, and yeah, well, only 1%. Ooh, did that one at 2. Check that out. That one didn't even do nothing. But it got that database, which I guess I didn't really select that for the other one. But yeah, but I mean, yeah, I guess there ain't too much to write home about. It does have a lot more features and stuff. I guess the price is kind of whatever. It's kind of however you want to look at that. To be honest, this it's pretty good. I like it, but I think I don't really see anything different than like even the old program 7-zip, which came out like when XP was king and whatnot, when 7-zip or not 7-zip, JZip came out. And I mean, even that's still kind of doing the same compression. But then again, it's zip format, so it has to follow a protocol and codecs and things. So I guess, really we're comparing apples to apples, which is good because that's what's kind of supposed to happen technically if things are following codes and specifications. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers this. I mean, there ain't much more I can do unless I pay for it, which I'm not. For everything I have, I don't see me getting this, honestly. But yeah. Oh, hold on. You could save 50% now. Oh shit. Check it out. So yeah. All right. Well, there we go. I mean, yeah, it was kind of cut short a little bit just because, well, I wouldn't call it a paywall, but yeah, virtually that. But just as we've seen, it pretty much does what it states it does. You can view contents, no surprise, and export it and save it in all kinds of different file formats needed for compression, which is nice if you are trying to maximize compression sizes or hit a niche group, or you want to cover every possible group with every possible software program. It's up to the user to determine and whatnot. So not really too disappointed that it was cut short just because of that. So yeah, I think overall it's a pretty good software and program. Kind of like what I stated in the video as well. If you're really just viewing and just want to, either decompress or extract files or something like that, I mean, you can use. There's so many other different programs on the market that are for free, and even like I stated too, Windows is also capable of doing that now. Unlike before, back in the 90s to early 2000s, Windows didn't come bundled with that, so you had to get software and things like that. And who knows, this could very well be in that very niche group that could be phasing out and or dying, at least reviewing things. Obviously, when it comes to compression and stuff, well, out of the box, Windows just can't do that because, well, yeah, you're there to use the system and whatnot. And there's not really a big group of people that want to do things like that. Yeah, to be honest, if I didn't have any other program out there that I didn't already have, or if this was my first time getting into the market, checking out programs, I think it's a really great program to have. But it's really only great if you are a power user that wants to share files or has a lot of files that you want to archive that are particular or specific about things. I think it's well worth the price. I know right now it's discounted, but I mean, even for home use for $25, I mean, and the license is perpetual, honestly, but only for that version, like I stated in the video. So, I mean, really, I give this a 10 out of 10. Does exactly what it does. I know that, when it comes to compression and stuff, I can't really grade it too hard on things like that. If I really wanted to do that, then, I would have had 7-zip installed and a whole slew of programs. And, it wasn't really to measure the capabilities of how well it compresses. It's what are the features and functionality of the program. And I feel it's pretty feature rich, honestly, at least compared to, and granted, like JZip, which, yeah, if you got to compress something or whatever, yeah, you could do it. But, I mean, really, it's mostly for viewing, and, it's got a little bit more extra features than what Windows comes out of the box this day and age. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. This was part 3. Just got 2 more left to go. Kind of shocked at how fast I'm burning through this. We'll see how soon I can get to part 4. Can't make any promises, but yeah. All right, guys. Until next time.